All right, you guys. So for the last week or so, I have been on the road. When I say on the road, I mean on the road. I have been all over the place. We did 3 conferences in 6 days. And don't ask me why or how. Actually, you can because we're going to talk about that, the why and the how. But here's where we were. So if you can kind of go, I don't know, maybe left to right, kind of doesn't really work exactly that way. But we were in Dallas. If you look down below the on the road, that is Adam Curry, the podfather, literally the co-inventor of podcasting. And that was at Podcast Movement, which is a conference really for the business side of podcasting. It's not just for creators, it's also for the brands and the agencies and the hosts and everyone that kind of handles the business of podcasting. And for example, the co-host is Sounds Profitable, which is a podcasting group as well, kind of like a consortium type thing. And then after Dallas, 3 days in there, we headed over to Atlanta. That's where I was a speaker in VidFest. And then we got to meet all those folks over there, like Brian and Bernadette Joy and Yolanda. That's Chris Crementos over there. If you're looking on the bottom right, another picture of Yolanda over there. She's amazing. And then the third conference was in Atlanta as well, because guess what? I had a hotel right next to a third conference. And yes, I decided to hop in and kind of crash. Well, it didn't crash. I got a free ticket from Lamar Tyler's Traffic, Sales, and Profit. And that was amazing. So, all that to say, let's go back to our first slide. What is the one mindset every faith focused creator needs to make? And here's what I believe. Really, from my travels of those 3 conferences. Because what happened when I decided to push myself out of my comfort zone, because I was already booked to speak at one conference, but I did not a month ago plan to be at Podcast Movement, nor did I think I was going to get a chance to go to Traffic, Sales, and Profits sponsorship of the National Business League, which is a African American centric business conference. I had neither one of those bookends on my radar. So I was simply planning to get a flight to go to Atlanta, go speak, come back home. That was it. So for me then to go from one conference and a 2-day trip to 3 conferences and a 6-day trip required a mindset shift. It required me as a creator who has many other hats that I wear, different things that happen to me, different things I work with, music, I work in podcasting. Obviously, as you can see, I'm working in coaching and marketing. However, the one mindset shift I had to make as a faith-focused creator is this. And I'm just going to say it up front so that y'all can get it no matter how much longer you watch, so that you can make this shift. And the shift is to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And why am I saying that in terms of being a faith-focused creator and versus, say, any other creator? If you are a creator that loves God, who's called according to his purpose, who feels that you have a calling and a mission on your life, not just in the marketplace, but also in ministry and how you flow and how God has really been moving in you to become a creator in either part-time or full-time capacity, we are called to you guys. That's what God and Gigs is here for. So that every creator, no matter where you perform or create inside mission or marketplace or in the ministry, you don't feel that you have the insecurity following you, the lack of confidence following you. Well, for me personally, for me to make the shift from I just want to go where I'm comfortable, where I feel like I'm known, where I can share, where everybody understands what I'm doing, even though this was technically kind of like out of my comfort zone as well, because I was speaking on video, which looks like I'm used to video now, but I was not used to video before. For me to do that and then decide to go to 2 separate conferences, both of which I had no experience in, nor did I know I was going to know people there. I did, but again, at the time, I didn't think so. It required me to say, hey, Alan, you have to move out of your comfort zone. And I think every faith-focused creator, the very word faith puts that right in the front of our mind. Faith requires us to get uncomfortable. You can't be comfortable and have faith. And I don't mean that you can't have peace. Yes, you can have peace. Yes, you can have God's security and confidence. But for you to grow as a faith-focused creator, you can't do it inside of your comfort zone. It just doesn't work. And I can point to person after person in the Bible that God removed them from where they were comfortable so that they could exhibit and understand how God would move, how God would use them, how God would supply all their needs. But it never happened when they were comfortable. So I'll just point out a couple of a million of them come to mind, but a couple that I could just point off the top of my head. When Daniel is put into the lion's den, we all know the story, but that was not comfortable for Daniel. It was not comfortable for the 3 Hebrew boys to be put into the fiery furnace. That was not comfortable. It was not comfortable for Elijah to be asked to go to a brook where there was no food and wait for ravens and crows to come feed him, and then go to a widow woman who was making her last meal. That was not comfortable. It wasn't comfortable for Jonah to have to go into the belly of a whale to finally get his mind right and then go to Nineveh. None of these characters, Paul, of course, having to go through all of the things he went through, being stoned, being shipwrecked, none of these things were comfortable. And what I fear in the creative space is that we oftentimes make our decisions based on comfort instead of based on that willingness to be challenged, that willingness to grow, that willingness to sit in a place where I am not necessarily the smartest. I don't know if I know anyone. I don't know if I understand what's going on. And I have to get uncomfortable in order for me to grow as a creative. If you are not willing to do that, I really can't say you got a good shot at growth, a good shot at success, a good shot at being all that God has created you to be as a creator. Because there's just no growth without that challenge. There's no growth without that ability to step out on faith and say, God, I'm not sure what happens next. The episode that we just released with Khadijah is perfect proof of this. It's perfect proof when she was uncomfortable and God said, I need you to go look at the episode. God told Khadijah, I need you to surrender musical theater. She had practiced and given up everything to go to New York, which seemed like going out on faith, right? But what took more faith was not her stepping out to go to New York. What took more faith was saying, hey, I guess I'm not going to do this right now in this season. I'm going to go back home and become a teacher. That took faith. That took a obedience that was not comfortable to tell everyone, yeah, I'm coming home. I mean, it may seem more comfortable, but honestly, when you have a dream, it's more comfortable to set it aside, say, no, God, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to go where you say to go. So my friends, as you're listening to this right now, I want you to think, what is the place, the thing that I know God would show up, he would guide me, but I'm not comfortable there. I'm not comfortable in this class. I'm not comfortable in this circle. I'm not comfortable in this community or this membership, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because if you do that, I can tell you the mindset shift that changed with me being in 3 different rooms where I suddenly realized, hey, just because I don't know anyone doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of being called a podcaster, being called a creator. I was forced to make new connections. I was forced to step up to people and shake their hand. I was forced to say, hey, I need to be here and be engaged with this community. I was forced to read new books. I was forced by my environment being changed to think differently. And when I was thinking differently, it created a new sense of creative energy and inspiration in me because I was out of my comfort zone. That's what happened. And so for my friend, thank you for watching this episode. If that blessed you, you got to make sure that you stay connected with this community and this channel so that you can get more where that came from. We're sharing great interviews, tactics, strategies, mindsets, lifestyle choices, everything is going to help you become a totally confident creative. And don't miss an episode of the God and Gig Show. If you are staying connected to our channel, you'll be able to find us anytime we release new episodes. And you can check out some of our archives of almost 200 episodes now that we've shared over the last few years. Make sure you check out one of the suggestions right now, because it's probably perfect for you to continue to develop as a creative. And continue to stay connected with us, because we're here to help you become the creative that God created you to be. We'll see you in the next episode.